Start the welcome, you idiot.
Hi. Welcome
Hello.
to episode 8.
Of Choke Your Friend.
Okay.
This
69.
is Yummy. No. This is Alan. And I'm Antonio. That crazy motherfucker who always does stunts and gets humiliated in public.
And sold his soul for a bag of kettle corn.
And who wants to pursue a career in Jackass or something like that. I don't know.
And I'm Jonathan, operating the camera, so you can't see me right now.
Just turn it around for a second.
Pretty much.
Today's topic of this video is on music. We're going to be talking about the different bands we listen to. The first topic is Iron Maiden versus Judas Priest. Where does each of you stand on who's better or who's more influential, that kind of thing?
Oh.
Alan first.
Well, ultimately think Iron Maiden's overall better, although they're both legends and
Yeah.
divine metal.
It's a battle of the powerhouses.
But where does Black Sabbath stand in this situation?
I don't know. A lot of people are going to disagree with us, though.
And where does Deep Purple fit into this?
You know, if I may interject something here,
Yes.
Black Sabbath helped pioneer the heavy metal scene, though. They were the original heavy metal band.
That's true.
So you gotta give them that credit.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I mean, sure,
let's
you
see.
know, they had stuff like Ozzy singing for them. Those, in my opinion, were the best years, with Ozzy singing for Sabbath.
Yeah.
Not so much with Dio. I'm sorry. Dio's okay, but he wasn't good for Sabbath.
However, Holy Diver is an awesome song.
I agree.
Rainbow in the Dark is also a good one, too.
Indeed.
Yes.
Dio's the only one who can sing about a rainbow and it not sound stupid.
Or gay.
But I'm dressed like a rainbow.
You're dressed in tie-dye, not a rainbow.
Yeah.
So I
Anyways,
still look like a rainbow.
He doesn't look gay, though.
I don't
Does
look
he?
gay. Hey,
Well,
Rob
that's-
Halford's gay.
I know.
You have
I
a
hate-
problem with gay people?
Dude, I hate homophobes. I want to rip their heads off. I want to commit.
Sure you do.
I want to commit brutal fatality on them. But anyways, as we were speaking,
next band.
Let's see. Most influential. Ugh.
How about here's
Biggest
here's
influence.
another one. Which band has been the biggest influence in your life thus far?
shit.
Probably directly Maiden, indirectly Judas Priest. Because ultimately Judas Priest, when did they form? I know that they...
In the
first
70s.
album, was it 72 or 74? Something along those lines.
They've been around longer than Maiden, though.
Yeah,
Not by much, though.
exactly.
For
Maiden formed on, was it Christmas 76?
December 25th, 1975 was when Iron Maiden formed. For me personally, the most influential band, well, to start out, the first band I ever got into was the Ramones. Not necessarily influential, but it was the first band that got me really into the whole music scene. It started out as kind of like punk rock type deal, and then it kind of migrated into the hard rock, and then I didn't really listen to heavy metal until Guitar Hero and listening to Iron Maiden, playing the Iron Maiden song. So in a way, Iron Maiden has been my most influential band.
But didn't you get into Judas Priest first?
I got,
With
yeah,
those 3 albums, Screaming for Vengeance,
British
Point of Eternity,
Steel.
and British Steel. Yeah.
in a way, I got into Judas Priest before Iron Maiden, but like I said, Iron Maiden has been more influential, and Steve Harris, he's my
Steve
idol.
Harris.
He's my idol for playing the bass guitar.
Steve Harris is legend. And so is Bruce.
I'd have to go with Gary Holt for my idol for guitar, though. If you don't know who he is, check out Exodus.
Interesting.
What? You don't know the guys from Exodus?
Not much.
Well, we start another argument. Clive Burr versus Nico.
Shit.
Is it Nico the drummer though?
Yes, and
So-
Clive Burr was the original drummer of Iron Maiden.
Clive Burr was the original. Okay, Clive Burr versus Nico McBrain. Where do you stand on who's better or why?
Nico.
Not a chance.
Really?
Clive Burr's better. They're both great drummers, but Clive Burr had something even more special about him than Nico does. Nico McBrain, you know, he brings great personality, and he brings great skill to
Listen with Nico too.
Yeah, like he
Indeed.
brings great personality to the band, and he plays really well on the drums. And if you want to hear
And if you
him
listen to
play,
enough
Yeah.
and if you want to hear a good
MTV.
song
BBC.
by
Indeed.
that really shows how good Nico plays,
Where Eagles
where
Stand.
Eagles Dare off of their Peace of Mind album. Listen to the beginning of that. You might sound like he's using a double bass pedal, but he's only using one. That shows how instrumental his playing has been for the band.
And the biggest thing, he poked Lars.
Yes, that
Poked
was.
Lars.
Yes, there is a video somewhere on YouTube showing Nico destroying Lars from Metallica.
Back in the 80s, I think it was.
Yeah,
86, 85,
and come on, was in a band called McKitty. Yes.
Yes, he was. He talked about it in the Listening with Nico stuff. You would know that if you had been paying attention
I
when we
have.
listened.
I'm just
You weren't paying attention at all, were you?
Yes, I was. I'm just thinking about the name. Come on. But anyways, I haven't talked yet about my influential bands.
Okay.
Of course, I agree with everyone. My most influential band has been Iron Maiden. It actually got me to singing and whatnot, besides playing rock band, of course. But it got, like, Bruce Dickinson pretty
You
much.
care to do a solo for us. Right here, right now.
I'll do that later when we play rock band. Or when I get a new band or whatnot, if I ever do.
Well, you do know we're trying to start a band here, right?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Maybe we'll take you on as the vocalist.
I know.
Or maybe not.
I know.
We'll have to
Most-
figure out the the
Yeah.
personnel shifts in our band.
Yeah, my situation seems a little tight, but I mean, I have.
Yeah, you're too busy getting whipped by your girlfriend.
Okay.
But,
Next top. Anyways, continue, Antonio,
as
for
I was saying, it's
influentials.
the most influential band. It got me into this hard metal shit that
And what
These
were
guys
you
got
into
me.
before you got into metal?
I was more of a mainstream guy, to be honest.
So that's why you like
Okay.
Nirvana so much.
I
Not
need to
really.
interrupt with a new topic: mainstream music versus underground stuff.
kills everything.
I agree.
Now,
Not just in rock music, but everything else.
Now, let me ask you another question. Iron Maiden versus Metallica. Metallica's mainstream. Iron Maiden's not.
Well,
what do you think
Iron
that...
Maiden's questionably mainstream.
But
What do you think being mainstream means for a band versus... How do you think being mainstream might help a band versus how do you think it might not do something good?
Well, ultimately going mainstream basically
It's
is selling your
selling
soul to a record company, ultimately sacrificing the greatness of your music in order to make it radio friendly.
that's why Kurt Cobain didn't want to do it.
So you're going to bring up Nirvana. If
Exactly.
you want to talk a little bit about Nirvana, that's okay. If you like Nirvana, this is for talking about music.
No, I'm not talking about Nirvana though. But the thing is, Kurt Cobain.
Nirvana
didn't
was never mainstream.
want, in a way it was, but I mean,
Not
you play
as-
on the radio all
it
the
was
time.
more-
But Kurt
they
Cobain
were-
didn't want to do it.
They were more of like trying to stay underground, but
Yeah,
they
but it
became
didn't happen.
mainstream by accident, I think.
Yeah, that's what happened. And Kurt Cobain hated it. But as we were saying,
Okay.
Uh,
Let's see, what's
underground just
next?
owns everything.
okay.
What's your favorite underground band?
This is talking about our favorite underground will come in part 2 of this
Episode.
talking music episode. Thank